Hi, I'm Krystle. I've loved dolls since I was a child, and I never outgrew it. So, when I discovered Reborn dolls, my collection started to grow. There's Haley, Landon, Avery, Chloe, Shiloh, Grace, Jamie, Jeremy, Maya, Yuki, Savannah, and Ava. Along with collecting, I've been a Reborn artist since 2008. It isn't easy keeping up with my collection, but it sure is a lot of fun. Hi guys, so I am here today to share with you Chloe's story. And Chloe was the next baby that I got after Avery. Around the time that I adopted Avery, I saw the prototype come out for this new kit by the same sculptor that sculpted Avery, and that's Evelina Wosnjuk, or however you say it. Wosnjuk. I don't know, there's an N in there and I don't know. Anyways, I always mess it up, I'm sure. But I just fell in love with the look of the kit. Just her little sucky lip and her eyes, the way she looks like she's grinning. I just fell in love. But I could not afford to buy another Reborn at that point because I had just got my Real Care 2 Haley plus Avery. So my friend Amy, who was the one that Reborn Landon, she said to me, well, why don't you buy the kit and Reborn her yourself? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't think I can Reborn. I had no clue. And so anyways, Amy's like, well, I can teach you. And so I was like, okay. So I ordered the kit, and I think it was like a pre-order. I don't think it was available right away. So when it finally came in, we set a date for me to go to her place and learn how to Reborn. And I was so new to Reborning. I honestly, I had no clue what to buy other than the kit. I didn't realize that the kit just came with the head, arms, and legs. I didn't know you had to get a body or eyes or any of those things. So I went to Amy's and we got to work painting, and I was in heaven. I found it so relaxing to paint. And this was in November, I believe, November of 2008 that I went there to start painting and learn how to Reborn and stuff. Yeah, and I remember I just loved it. We spent the entire day painting, and I finished her in one day. Now, that's because I learned the very bare basics of painting. I mean, we did a flesh layer, we did a blushing layer, we did creases and lips and nails and eyebrows, and that was it. So as I've progressed in my art, I do many, many more layers with all sorts of colors, and it takes much longer. There's no way I could paint a baby in a day, even if I tried. So we use Genesis heat set paints for the most part, but at that time artists were still also using stencil creams, and so Amy had some stencil cream, so I actually used stencil cream to blush her and do her creases, and I just felt like I had more control over the look of it. And I wanted her to have very, very rosy cheeks, which she does. And her eyes are so nice. Like, we glazed them and put the eyelashes on. And I don't know why, but for some reason, this kit in particular, the eyelashes that we used fit it to perfection, and it doesn't want to like curl under or anything. And yet on the other Estelle kit that I did, I had a lot of trouble getting eyelashes on this eye. It just wanted to keep curling downward on me. It was like as soon as I tried to tuck it under the eyelid, it just wouldn't lay right. But this one, her eyelashes lay perfectly, and in fact it looks like I didn't even trim down the eyelashes like I usually cut off an end so that it fits the eye better, because I usually tend to not like eyelashes that go right into the corner like that. I find it's a little bit too much, but for some reason on this one it just works. I don't know, it looks really good. But when I was trying it on my other Estelle to not cut it, it just didn't look right, and so I trimmed them down, and so they don't go right into the corners. But yeah, so anyways, so yeah, we spent the whole day painting and chatting, and it was so much fun, and I was hooked on reborning from that point on. And then before I left, she was so generous. She was so wonderful to me to teach me how to paint. And then she also gave me some eyes that she had on hand, and she gave me a body that she had on hand, and didn't even want me to pay for it. And so that was amazing. So now the body that she has, I'm still not 100% sure it is the correct size for her, because it was just a body that was on hand. It seems kind of long to me. I actually want to compare it to Naomi's body, but she's very stuffed, quite firm. She doesn't really move much, and because we weighted her head at the back, her head tends to fly backwards when standing, or I mean when sitting or when laying down. So she's kind of stiff. And even Amy gave me like glass beads for weighting and everything. She has pretty big thighs, like the cloth part in there. So like these newborn pants are a little snug on her. The onesie's okay though. So anyways, she showed me quickly how to root the hair. I had no idea that when you root hair, you have to make a hairline. And so I just started, I think I just started here, and I just went around and around and around and around until I had about a loony size left at the back of her head, because that's what Amy told me. She's like, just keep rooting around and around and around until there's a little bit of loony size left. And then she says, I will come over and show you how to do the swirl and finish it up. So I'm like, okay. So I went home with my rooting needle, which again, she gave me one of her rooting needles. She even gave me mohair, and I believe the mohair was Slumberland too, which is not cheap. I didn't know that at the time though. And so I went home and I rooted and I rooted and I rooted for a good week, and then she was there, so then Amy came over and showed me how to do the swirl, which the swirl never really turned out all that great. And she showed me how to seal the hair and cut the hair and style it and all that stuff. And then she was ready to be put together once the glue dried. So I finally put her together, and she was born on December the 8th, 2008 at 8:30 p.m. and I was so proud of her, and I loved her. And I was so excited because she was born 2 days before my birthday. And so when Alex took me out to dinner for my birthday, I took her with me to the restaurant, and she got lots of attention, and I was like so happy, and it was just so much fun. It just made it a really fun birthday. And so her name is Chloe Marie. I'm not sure where I got the middle name Marie from, but Chloe came from, I think my mom and I were really into watching the show Starting Over a few years before I reborned Chloe. And there was a girl in the house who had a baby, and she named her Chloe, and I loved that name. So that was the inspiration for her name. She weighs 4 pounds, 3 ounces, and is 20 inches long. And like I said, she's by Evelina Wosnjuk. Sorry guys, if anyone out there knows how to pronounce that name, it's Wosnjuk. I haven't a clue. Anyways, so that is how Chloe came to be. And yeah, so of course my reborning has improved greatly over the years, and I have also been blessed enough to adopt some high quality reborns from some top artists that I love. And so I will always love Chloe. I will always have a special place in my heart for Chloe, just because she was the first reborn that I made myself, and it was such a special memory for me to spend the day with Amy and learn how to paint. And I just still to this day remember how relaxed I felt, and it was like a big stress reliever just sitting and painting. And so she will always have a special place in my heart, and I don't think I will ever get rid of her, because she was the first doll that I made, and it's nice to look back and see how far I've come in my reborning. But because she is not really cuddly, because she's stiff, and she's got quite a bit of shine. I'll show you her details in a while. And just because she's not the same quality as some of my other babies that I'm more drawn to, I don't really play with her much. I mainly just display her, and I enjoy looking at her and stuff like that. But I find like a lot of her clothes fit weird because of the way her body is. And I've toyed with the idea of putting a matte varnish on her to get rid of the shine, as well as getting her a new body, or reweighting or restuffing her or whatever. But at the same time, I don't know if I want to do that, just because this is how she was when I completed her. And like I said, it was the first reborn that I made, and I don't know if I want to alter her in any way, because it's kind of like I said, it's just like a way for me to look back and see how far I've come. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like, would you replace her body or change any little thing about her just to maybe make me more tempted to play with her? Or do you think I should just leave her as she was and you know, just enjoy displaying her? So yeah, anyways, I am going to show you her details really quick, and then I will end this off with a little slideshow of some pictures. Okay guys, so let's look at her details. Now, in person, she's very peachy reddish tone. The lighting right now is kind of washing that out, so you can't really see it. But the one thing about her is that the paint on her is very thick. I really put that on pretty thick, And so she looks chalky in some areas. You can see she has a little bit of blue in the corner of her eyes. She's got, I used glass paint on her lips. And yeah, her cheeks are really rosy. Her eyebrows are horrible. It has taken me a long time to learn how to paint eyebrows, and I am still struggling with it. I mean, I definitely can paint them a lot better now, but I still can't get them to look as realistic as, say, Maya's eyebrows or Yuki's eyebrows. Those are just amazing to me. I don't know how they do it. Here are her ears. Hopefully you can see that. They're kind of pinky there. This is her body. And see, like, the cloth part on the top is quite long. Right there. Also, this is, I think, mostly filled with glass beads. So her arms are quite heavy. I don't tend to weight arms like that anymore. They're very heavy. And here's her full body here. And then she's got the 3/4 limbs. But man, like, look how big that is. Like, I'm pretty sure I could get bodies where these are a lot smaller now. Because it's like, whoa, like thunder thigh, baby. Here are her arms. They're quite pinky red. There's really no varying in skin tones on that. You can see a little bit, I don't know, you can kind of see some veins in there, I think. But see how chalky? And then here are her fingers. And I do my nail tips much differently now. But, you know, for someone who had just learned, I think they're all right. Like, they're kind of thick, but I do them a lot thinner now. Here are the palms of her hands. And again, it's not really picking up the true color of it, unfortunately. But yeah, like, I mean, even her fingertips aren't really like blushed like what I do now. They're, I just pretty much blushed in here a little. She's got some like buildup of paint in the creases. She's got, because we didn't have a drying rack back then. So we would put them on a towel to dry, but when the paint is wet and you lay it on a towel, it puts like the towel print in the paint. So so I definitely, you know, when I really went into reboarding, I made sure to get a drying rack because I did not like the way that looked. And there's her creases. Some of them are like really red. Her little elbows are blushed. Oh, let me see if I got her elbows. Here's her legs. Again, like, it's washing it out, but her legs are like peach/red. So she's very, yeah, there's her feet there. And then I just kind of blushed all over. Not a big deal. But yeah, like, her feet are really cute. There's her legs. And I realized too that I didn't do a lot of the creases. Like, you can just see the paint pooled in those creases, and I don't think I even put paint in those creases. There's just like flesh tone pooled in there. Her hair. Again, not bad for first time rooting. I've kind of learned how to comb it and style it in a way that it looks okay. But basically, to me, it's like she has a bowl. Because I just went around and around and around. Whereas now, you know, people have hairlines that go up and then they come around, and then they go down. They don't go around and around and around. So, but I mean, I didn't know. So, but I mean, I think for my first time rooting, it turned out pretty good because I was using Slumberland mohair. It's a little frizzy now over the years, but, and her hair, it has, let's see if it can focus. So you can see quite a bit of plugs. I've definitely improved a lot. I'm a lot more picky with my rooting. I try not to get plugs like that. And if I do, I tend to pluck them out with tweezers. But I remember, I mean, it seemed like it took a long time to root, but compared to how long it takes me to root now, because I'm more fussy, it was a pretty fast rooting job. I mean, I just had a big clump of mohair in my hand. I laid it across her, and I was just going through the middle of the mohair. I had no clue. So the back of her hair, it's a little bit frizzy. She doesn't really have a swirl per se. I just kind of try to comb a swirl in there, but really doesn't have like a defined rooted swirl. But yeah, it's just fun looking back on that and how far I've come. And so yeah, those are her details. I mean, I would have to say, because her body is stiff, she sits up very well. I mean, she really does. If you look at it, she sits up, and the fact that her head kind of goes back a bit, it always is like she's looking up at you. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, my mom actually likes Chloe better than Naomi. She prefers Chloe. I prefer Naomi just because quality-wise, I know her rooting's better, her painting is better, and I think her body and weighting is a lot better. But there is something endearing about this one, that her face looks almost totally different to Naomi's, in that the hairstyle is different, the coloring is different, and even the way I painted the lips is a little bit different, so it gives her a little bit of a different expression. And I really do love her rosy cheeks. So yeah. So that's her details, guys. Okay guys, so that was her details. I hope you have enjoyed this little video learning the story about Chloe and how she came to be in this family, and how she will continue to be. And like I said, I will leave off with a little slideshow for you to enjoy, to see her, just some pictures of her from the time she was born until now, I guess. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and we will see you in the next video. Bye, guys. here with the box opening. Naomi has arrived back home. And for those of you who don't know who Naomi is, she is the second Estelle kit that I painted. The first Estelle kit that I painted was my very first Reborn that I made. And I think it was like 23 or 24 Reborns later, I did another Estelle kit. And to be able to